Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rekt Capital and welcome back to the Rekt Capital channel here on YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin's three macro triangles that we see across time. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Let's dive right into this one. So each macro triangle has a macro downtrend, a multi-year macro downtrend which consistently resists price and forms that series of lower highs which inevitably gets broken. And whenever we see a long-standing diagonal downtrending resistance representing lower highs and representing the macro downtrend, a multi-year downtrend, if that gets broken, a new macro multi-year uptrend emerges. And that's essentially a technical analysis rule. When a long-term downtrend gets broken, a new long-term macro uptrend emerges. And this being the macro downtrend, we see this across time, that the lower highs are essentially being formulated here and get broken at some point in the future, and we see a macro uptrend emerge afterwards. But the very key thing to a macro triangle is of course the macro downtrend, but also the base of this triangle. So these are essentially descending triangles, and a descending triangle is a typically bearish pattern. And whenever we see a descending triangle, the macro downtrend is an important part of that, and the base is an important part of that as well. So when we see a breakdown from the base, that essentially validates the pattern. And to fully confirm this breakdown, we see a monthly close below the base of the triangle, then a relief rally to turn this base triangle into a new resistance, and then rejection, downside continuation to the downside, to form a new bear market bottom. Sometimes, of course, we don't get that confirmation like we got in the 2015 period. We just break down and in search of a bear market bottom. So based on that sort of tendency, this is where I created the thread, which got a bit of traction on Twitter, that according to the three macro triangles, back in June 2022, we were now in a downtrend acceleration phase in an effort to form that generational bottom. And that just goes to show that when we lost the base of this descending triangle, we were now setting ourselves up for downside continuation. And that's what this yellow circle suggests. So back in June, mid-June of 2022, that downside acceleration was very much occurring. And if we fast forward to the next tweet in that thread in mid-November, Bitcoin has experienced a large part of its downtrend acceleration phase. We saw the downside acceleration phase take place here just like we saw in the past, and because we saw such a capitulation, it could have preceded a bear market bottom. So still some downside to come as price searches for that inevitable bear market bottom. And 16,600, in fact, at that time wasn't yet the bear market bottom. 15,500 was, and I believe perhaps even in that candle, maybe we got that shortly afterwards. I can't remember. But that's generally where post downtrend acceleration, we have a downside wick, and that final capitulation before moving onwards and forming a generational bottoming out period like we've seen in the past. And when Bitcoin finally formulated its base, formulated that accumulation range that would inevitably bring us closer to the macro downtrend for that final break beyond the macro downtrend, once we reach that macro downtrend, that's when Bitcoin would start to enjoy its pre-breakout and breakout phase. And that phase, of course, precedes the upward acceleration phase. So this pre-breakout moment corresponds to those moments in the past. And in 2015, we had a breakout and then retest and then trend continuation. Here we just broke out towards the upside. So it was always going to be a question of, are we going to see a repeat of 2015 and see a dip into the macro downtrend for a retest? Or are we going to see a 2019 period and just explode towards the upside? And lo and behold, going forward, we have seen a breakout a confirmed breakout, no real retest. Now it's in the post-breakout upward acceleration phase. The macro downtrend is over and the new macro uptrend has begun. So Bitcoin now has fully confirmed its new macro uptrend. The macro downtrend is over. A new trend has emerged, and it doesn't look likely that we're going to get that 2015 retest period. Perhaps sometime later on in the year going into 2024, but that would no longer retest this macro downtrend like it did in 2015 right over here. It will probably be something more similar to a 2020 situation where we see a bit more upside potentially, and then that deep retracement going into 2024, a recovery, some sort of pre-halving retrace, and then we're finally in the clear going into the post-halving period of multiple months where Bitcoin appreciates to new all-time highs and enjoys parabolic growth. So that's about it for the Bitcoin 3 macro triangle theory. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and of course subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. I'm Rekt Capital and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak to you soon.